sometimes you gotta go the extra step. Whether you're standalone, whatever you're doing, sometimes you gotta take the beat a little bit further, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about adding in the sauce, right? So you guys are in luck. Like, I was out maneuvering and moving around, and I just happened to come across this beat that I had started to work with probably a day ago. And I ended up just setting up my camera and recording. I was going to toss it because you could see the camera on the screen, and I don't really like that, you know what I mean? But as I was going back through it, I realized there was all these extra little things. Like, I made a sound effects track. I recorded the laptop from Top Boy, and then I put that in the beat. I did a couple passes after I already had got the sequence together. There's a couple of things that you could really learn. So if you stick around to the end, you're definitely going to learn something today. Like I said, hopefully you guys won't be too annoyed with the camera on the screen. You know, it was just something that I wasn't really thinking about posting, and then boom, here we are. What's going on, guys? It's your brother O.T.G. The O.T.G's for Overtime Grind. Hardly seen, but I'm always around. And today I got something that's like a outtake, sort of. You know what I mean? It's the second half of the beat. So we came in already. I already had the drums going. I made these drums. Had a simple chord progression going. And right when I started to cook up the bass, I figured, hey, let me get my camera out and set it up, right? Well, then, as you could see, I didn't check and see. I was just in the vibe. So I set it up real quick, got it recording, and got in the zone. When I finished, I looked at it and I said, man, this thing's got this camera all on the screen, the reflection. I'm probably just going to toss it. But then I started thinking about all the different stuff that I was doing, you know what I mean? And it all came together kind of perfectly, because when you're moving around and you're out, you got your headphones on or you're doing something, you can always just kind of cook up and go the extra step. So in this video on the Live II, we're going to go the extra step, you know what I mean? Right now, this is just the initial cook-up phase. Making this all from scratch, you know what I mean? Just trying to find some vibes. I like that old breakbeat. You know, one of the things I like to do is just recreate the breakbeat myself. You know, you can find the patterns and play around with the breakbeat, play around with the BPM and try to match your own. And once you understand where things go on the grid, you can start to recreate some of these super famous patterns without using any loops. You know what I mean? At this point, when I was making the beat, I didn't know I was going to add all this other stuff. You know, I was just running a drill. You know what I mean? I had some extra time. I was just sitting around, and I wanted to just try to cook up something. I had heard something while I was sitting there. It sounded pretty good. You know what I mean? And I wanted to be able to. I just got inspired, so I started cooking it. Once I got a little bit into it, I broke out the table, you know what I mean, and broke out the stand and put the camera on the stand, and we started getting busy. I think it's good to go through the plugins all the time. You know, there's a very big library. If you have all of the plugins, the library is super big. And, you know, with Reason and Native Instruments and Complete and Contact and all those things, it took time for me to understand and learn the library, to get an idea of where the sounds that I wanted, where they were, how to achieve them, you know what I mean, and to go back to them. And as I went, I started to make my own library by saving it, but it took a lot of time, you know what I mean. And part of running as a drill is going through and taking the time, you know what I mean, taking the time to try to find different sounds, see how they work together, how they coexist. While I was making this beat, you know, I had some people around and freestyling, doing some things, and, you know, just doing what they do. Another day, another dollar, you know what I mean? And so really what I got to do is kind of build out while songs are not real songs, but, you know, when you're hearing where guys are naturally dropping their verse and dropping their cadence and putting things in and doing this and doing that, you know what I mean? You can get right to the work a lot faster. So right here, we already getting the beat lined out because I already got people ready to go, you know what I mean? Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure you check out the Gumroad. Follow me on all social media. I'm still building this thing out, man. I'm a full-time producer, full-time father, full-time brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, so shooting these videos, editing these videos, and trying to get everything up is a lot of extra work for me. You know, trying to get the websites done and all that stuff. I do it on my own. And I'm kind of still in the mix where I don't want to sell everything or give away everything, but I do want to give access to things. And since I'm blessed to do what I do, I put it at a good price point for you guys so you can access it. I don't have to kill you on the price because I'm kind of all right in other spaces, you know what I mean? And then that, you know, I build it up and get it better over time as I get time. But it's a community, you know what I mean? We start low and high. That's how it works. And I appreciate y'all along the way. Make sure you lock in. I got all kinds of stuff to show you guys. I'm starting to get excited. We got this going, man. And what's really dope sometimes with the plugins too is once you have a certain sound loaded in, you can use it multiple times. You can use it 50 times if you wanted to, or were creative enough. You know, you could change it up and switch it up sequence by sequence. So this is just the beat that I made on sequence 1. If I wanted to, I could go to sequence 2 and make a whole nother beat. You know, because I don't set my BPM to global, I set it by sequence. And so now I just got a template. That's how I look at it with most of these beats that I make. You know, if I'm just running through a sketch idea, once I know those sounds work together, I could always go back in, go to another sequence and cook up with drums that are already mixed, pianos and everything that's already panned. You get it. It's crazy because we already at this point, and at this point, this is where I would start to end the video. But this is where this video actually begins. You know, sorry to be 10 minutes in, but you know, we make long form content way before it was cool to make long form, no edit content. That's what I was doing, and I'm still going to do it. Right now we're going to find some sounds to stack up, and then we're going to play it over our whole sequence. You get what I'm saying? So instead of just doing the loop, we could play it in different parts or do different variations. And this is the first part of taking it to the next step. Because if you still have space, you know what I mean, you could definitely add some things in the back to give it motion. And it won't overpower the main sounds in the beat, and it won't sound like too many sounds. This also will take away the loopiness of it all by you being able to add things in different parts of the arrangement. And that will create a different feel for your beat when you're listening to it back or when you're playing it for somebody. So like for me, as they were rapping, I was just finding things and looking at things and doing little small things. And as the story, you know, the sounds that I chose and choose help paint the picture of the story that you're hearing on the music. And so as it goes from like a more somber or sad type, tell you my life story type feel, we transition it, add some other things in it, and it becomes more triumphant and a different feeling. Kind of throwing these off in weird places, you know, and I would speed the video up, but I'm not. I want you to see, you know what I mean? This is one of the things, I think it's the first time ever on my channel I'm gonna go in depth like this, but I want you to see, because I want you to see how you could take something basic and turn it into something a little bit more extravagant or something with a little bit more feeling and not so much repetitiveness and pretty much sounding the same the whole beat. You could still have your main melody playing, but you can now add some different variation in different parts and build some layers. So also when you take sounds away, it creates a really big feeling when everything kind of minuses out. Still going through trying to find the right sound. I had never been in this folder in Jura. I didn't know it even had these basic sounds, but again, this is about exploring your library and looking and trying to find what you're looking for, you know what I mean? You might not even know what you're looking for till you find it. See, like these little dots. This says electric piano too. But the way that they sound, it sounds almost like a bell or a glockenspiel or a celestia or something. So we're going to utilize that, play with the volumes, and turn that into another one of our pieces that we're going to go the extra step for, you know what I mean? I do stuff like this, part of the goal is to have part of it sit back in the beat and then have the higher notes come out at a different part of the beat. You know what I mean? I don't want to get the melody too crazy because I want to leave space with the main melody for the artist to be able to come up with their own melody and then be able to stat that over and over again with their chorus or whatever, however they want to do their voice. So this is the reason why sometimes I might do one-shot hits to utilize a layer or create a layer in certain parts of my production. So you could see, you know what I mean, we doing it from the beginning, so we just gonna play out the whole 64 bars. And on this one, I'm gonna be a little bit shorter, you know what I mean? And it's still gonna be a long video. But the reality is, you know, some days I might sit here and do this for 2 hours. Something that got arranged with 12 tracks in 15 minutes now has 42 tracks, and it's creating big lush string arrangements and different things to come in at certain parts, you know what I mean? And you just do it track by track, piece by piece. We built that thing up, we compose it, you know what I mean? This is part of being a composer. And in my mind, even though I'm starting to build out a lot of tracks or do a lot of things, what I'm adding is just adding to the sounds that are already there. And so essentially, you know, a lot of times when I get done with the way that I hear music and I produce, I still like it to sound like it's not a lot of sounds, even if it is a lot of sounds. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. You know, I can hear guys on the other channels now saying you shouldn't do it this way, and why would you do it this way, and all of this other stuff, you know what I mean? If you listen to my videos, I tell you all the time, it's just about the work for us. Sometimes we take shortcuts, sometimes we go the long way. Sometimes you see the value at the end, and at the beginning when you start, you might not understand it, but you trust that your ear and the time that you spent and how you work your machine and your vision is going to come through. And it goes back to what I was saying last video about decision making. Can't be out here avoiding decisions. You know what I mean? You gotta make the decision, try it, make a decision in the moment. Do you like it or not like it? And push forward. You know, one of the efficiency ways is to know that at some point you have it where you can erase anything you were questionable about or questioning, but at the same time, you don't want to nitpick forever, because that could be the thing that gets you no beats. Alright, we got that in there. Now we're in the mini D. We're going to try to find some kind of synth to put in that space. I'm always looking for movement. Always looking for movement. I also know the pads that I played, and I pretty much know, you know, have it memorized. Doom, 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 that part. And so if I could find something that is in the same key, doesn't even have to be a chord, and I don't have to replay the chord, but if I find a single note that I could play kind of in key, then we could layer that up. See, now we decided we got another part in. We're going to just throw that in there. You know what I mean? For me, I don't like to watch the bars either. So I may go to my GUI, the GUI, or whatever you call it, of one of the plugins, or go off the grid so I don't watch the bars. I could just tune in with my ears. I think it's important to always try to find some ear exercises in what you're doing, you know what I mean? It's cool to have all the visual stuff, but you know, sometimes you're working in a space where vision isn't the vision. You get what I'm saying? Like in this space, as I'm listening, you know, I'm making a beat out loud. I got one headphone in, but I have it running also through the outs into a very large room, so it's happening in real time with a bunch of people in here, you know what I mean, at the time of making this. Vision is to be locked into what I'm hearing. You know what I mean? Be able to craft, listen to my thoughts at the same time while listening to what's being said and thinking ahead in the aspect of, okay, this sound will help. The subject matter as it keeps going person to person is around the same thing. It could be because person A is leading, but at the same time, this could be the feeling or the thought that this is triggering. And if it's creating that feeling, then we want to explore that feeling more. How can I add some sounds and variations that will help explore that feeling? Always be blessed to have the tools, man. Standalone is really where it's at. You know, we could cry, no MPC3. I feel like they haven't gave it to me on purpose. They see my channel, they've responded to my social media, but you know, I don't check the box, and that's cool. You know, at the end of the day, we paid our money for the tools. Shout out to my brothers and all the people who made this possible, you know, who motivate me to do the videos, you know, especially my brother Jamie, Garnett, my brother Preston, my brother Tommy, a bunch of my brothers, you know what I mean, who are in our producer circle. We kind of coach and work with each other, or I work with them, you know, and still sharpen steel. I try to lead from the example that we're always blessed and that this is more than capable. If I feel like it's not capable, it's because I don't know how to do it. The machine is set for me to do it. It's in there. It's $1 billion in that MPC. We just gotta get it out of there. Now you're going to go through. And what I was going to do is I was going to use the sound effects from one of the plugins, because I was just going to push the line on the plugins, you know what I mean? you're from the culture, you understand what pushing the line is. That means taking it too far or pushing it to the limit. You know what I mean? Or just past the limit, past the line, red line. You know what I mean? In a car, the line, the finish line, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm a line pusher, part of being from the culture of hip hop, not emulating. So I was going to push the line and just see how many instruments, if I could push the 8 instruments, see what sounds I could get, and all of that type time. But then, you know, this is where decision making comes in. It makes more sense to utilize the search engine inside of the MPC and just type in effects and then SF effects and make my own program of effects that work for this song. So again, if in the search you just type in what it is you're looking for, and you could type random stuff in there or start, you could type like BLA, and then whatever pops up, and you could go through those sounds. You could type in all kinds of different combinations to try to get yourself to different variations and different sounds that you normally wouldn't tap into or hear in your normal way of searching. You know what I mean? And also helps you be more focused in what you're listening to versus you looking for a snare and you listening to 100 kicks and congas and all this other stuff, losing track of what you're thinking. You know, I like to come in hot too, so I'm gonna load it all the way up. Make sure you stay to the end because there's a certain part where I'm going to utilize the microphone and it's going to sound like I'm not recording anything. But because I was watching the meters when I was recording, I could see it moving just a little bit, which let me know when I normalize, it would bring it out. Show you guys how to take a microphone and just stick it to whatever you have close and record it in, especially if you are trying to create like an intro or record something from a TV show. You can always get the best audio from, not the best audio, but get the intro effect if you record it through a microphone versus, you know, through an interface. Part of recording through the microphone, by the time I turn up the highs and do certain things, it's going to change the quality of it. And sometimes, if you know, you can get past. So right now we're still going through some of these effects. I want to build out all 16 pads. I might not use all 16 effects, but I want to have a bunch that I like to go, because maybe I just trigger one time, you know what I mean? Another one of my tips is to do this while the song is playing, because then you can kind of match and get an idea of how these sounds are going to sound over your beat versus trying to stop the beat and go through sound by sound. If it don't sound good when you first hear it, it's not going to sound good really. Well, if you got, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, because if your skill's high enough, you can make a crazy sound decent. But at the point that we're at, you know, we're still trying to stay focused. So you gotta make real-time decisions And if we like it one time when we hear it, just load it. You know, audition it in cool places and then go ahead and record it in. You can see I have SFX loaded in the search, and as I touch each expansion, you can see if it has SFX labeled in it or not, and then you can pull it out by the WAV file. More than likely, I'm gonna just go to the Arab Music one and see what's in there. Look for a couple more, but at the end of the day, like, that's got some great sounding ones. Actually already went through that folder. Gonna finish this up. Now we're gonna get our pencil and color our pads. We're gonna keep purple for one-shot samples, blue for accent, perks, and voices. Go ahead and stop this so we can get the pads labeled. Get them colored. There we go. Now we got everything pretty much done. We go ahead and name it sound effects. You know, we go ahead and stop it, find us a couple sounds, and we can always go through, we go to program edit, go through and turn them down. We'll probably still touch the knobs again, but we want to get ourselves situated and ready. Take the extra steps. That's what this whole video is about. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Follow me, 365 O.T.G on all social media. Let's get them numbers up, bro. If you here and haven't liked this video, like the video. Like the video. Dislike the video. I prefer if you like it. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people take the time that I take with no edits just to show you pure creation. You know what I mean? Pure creation. And trying to consistently make beats out of the box that don't sound like every other beat on YouTube because everybody's watched the same tutorials and mixed the same way. You know? Be vulnerable and show the workups right from the bottom of the work to where we leave it at, and now, you know, show you the extra steps on how to create and craft something and make it yours. You know what I mean? You gotta take the time, gotta sacrifice, man. Now we got that straight. We're gonna record some of these in. And watch how I maneuver the record button so you can see we could punch in and punch out. There we go. Notice you could turn it on, turn it off, punch it in, punch it out. Right now, I'm going to go back a couple bars. Make sure you utilize your play button, not play start. And boom, you could just record right in, punch record back in and get it right, you know what I mean? These are all extra steps you could take later on when you got your beat. You know, you want to keep adding variations to your beat or add to it, you know what I mean, and make it unique or whatever you want to do. Build up the verse, the intro, the chorus, you know, spice it up some. Now that we got that together, you know, it's time now. We go through, we name it, and then we go through back to our sounds. We touch the knobs a couple more times. You know what I mean? Once we get that straight, you know, we go back through and we could mess with our kick some. And I'm only going to do so much because even though I'm taking all these extra steps, you know what I mean, this is something that could take 2 hours or 3 hours. again, like I'm saying, I'm doing this in real time while having conversations and doing other stuff. But I wanted to make this good for the person who was saying that they wanted it and ended up getting it, you know what I mean? So there's some things I wanted to get right out the gate. So I wanted to get the kick right. We go hit the drum effects. The beat's already lined out, but we could still go mess with the pitch, you know, mess with the depth. I haven't really done any effects to it, so I like to save all this till the end. That's part of why I say that in all my videos. You know, we can make the bass round so you can feel it. One of the things that I didn't capture on the video is that I went back and worked on the attack and some of the things inside of Subfactory for the bass. Put a low pass filter on the kick, curve off some of the top. You know, get our layer kick, add some more bass to it. Remember, you can use your gain to ease off some of the volume that you gain from doing the other stuff. Now what we could do is come through, add some snare variations. You know what I mean? Get the snare so it doesn't sound like it's just a looped up snare on the 2 and the 4. You know, and we're not really going to care how we play it in, because we'll just go back through the grid and fix it when it's done. But we're going to throw in a bunch of different variations throughout the whole beat. I'm going to let you guys hear it, and then we'll go back and fix it. As you can hear, it's all kinds of places where I was off, where it's going to place a snare in the wrong place from the quantize. And that's cool because I left it on. You know what I mean? Like, we made beats on beat for rappers. But what I'll do is I'll go back through the grid while it's playing, and I'll find those notes. And once I identify what they look like, the ones that are off, they'll be off repeatedly, and we'll just move them to the right space, which is over just nudge it one. We're about to finish up with the snare. Right now, we turn that off. We go straight to the grid. Now we can watch it as it plays. I can tell this one sounds crazy. So we're gonna move it back and audition it. And now we're gonna look for notes that look like that. See, we go through and nudge all of those. Tedious work right here, you know? It's not bad though, because the end result, we gonna like it. It's, again, taking the extra steps. Blind out, you know what I mean? We go through an audition, see how we feel about those. We had Top Boy playing, and then as Top Boy was playing in the studio, I'm hearing some of the parts. And while this is playing, I'm like doing a gauge in my head, like, okay, the voice sounds good. It sounds like it'll match the pitch of the beat. This sounds good. This feels like I could get it timed pretty well. I started looking for my SM58, my Shure mic that I like to carry with me. See how we could get that together. You know, we listening through, figuring it out. And so now here's the thing, right? I could record it and try to do it this way, but then when I press play, we're going to hear the beat, we're going to hear everything else, and I don't want to go too crazy. So what I'm going to have to do is go to the sampler, you know what I mean? And when you do things like this is where you got to direct the room and produce the room. Even for yourself, you know what I mean? You got to start making up the way of how you're going to execute this and get this done in the quickest amount of time. You know what I mean? So you can see now I'm plugging the microphone. Boom. We got it, you know. I got the inputs going in. You can see it would make sense. Oh, let's go ahead and do it this way. Once I figure that out, well, no, that's not going to work. I could see the inputs. I got everything lined up the way that I want it. So let's go ahead and do it that way so I could show you. Nope, we got the beat. The beat's starting to play, so that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? I got the speaker on and I got it running through something else. So I don't want to go through that. How can we speed this up? Okay, let's go to the sampler. Because I got the mic coming in on one input, let's turn it to input 1. You know, I'm doing a bunch of stuff, but let me find the record in button. Turn that all the way up. Get that volume all the way up. And so now, as I'm doing it, you can see the meter. You can see the meter's got just a little bit of movement. But it is recording. Even if I'm silent, you're not going to hear it. But here's the thing, you know, this is where you utilize your eyes. You trust what you're doing. I got the mic right to the speaker. You know, I got everybody quiet. And so the goal is to record in these parts. Because I could see the meter moving, I know that it's getting some of the parts. You get what I'm saying? Even though it doesn't look like it's recording at a high level, it is high enough to normalize, especially when we're just getting vocals. So this is a tip to always know, you know, you might get a bunch of background noise, but depending on what you're doing, you could either use a noise gate, or now that we have stems, you could use stems to cut out a bunch of that other noise and get you what you want. You know what I mean? I record the whole section because worst comes to worst, if I want to do anything with it, I'll chop it up and I could have the pieces, you know what I mean, to chop up and deal with that way. This is all in going the extra mile, pushing the line. we've had our arrangement since 10 or 15 minutes into the video. You know, I wanted to show you once the beat is already looped out and you've played your mutes, you know what I mean? Each time you record something in, you're like punch recording in, putting it in different places. So you got to listen through the whole beat or at least know. Now, see, you notice there was nothing there. But when I normalize, watch, now we have words. So let's listen.
You fucking brothers. When it suits you. You fucking brothers. When it suits you.
You just couldn't handle that I was the big brother.
Hey, how about see me on the level? How about I just wanted your respect? How about that?
I can move my start to go audition different parts just so I can see how the other parts sound in different places if they were to start in different parts. Also start to get an understanding of where I'm going to set my chops.
Look where we're from. Okay. We are not monsters with food. I can never be food.
We got it. So now we're going to go over to our chop screen.
When it suits you.
Chop it up.
You just couldn't handle that I was the big brother.
Hey, how about see me on the level? How about I just wanted your respect? How about that?
And I could go ahead, if I want to speed up, I could just throw some random chops in there and then move the slice marker to where I want to. But sometimes when you're cooking like this and everything is new and it's happening in real time, again, you got to just think about efficiency and what's not going to break the flow.
You were right.
As you can see with no edits, I just flowed through this. Everything is natural and ideas, thoughts, and real time. I don't have this written down anywhere. I'm not utilizing the computer. We're just using the MPC straight. No keyboard, no nothing.
Look where we're from.
Now I got my couple parts.
You can't run the shit without the bodies.
Look where we're from. Look where we're from.
Now we're going to convert that to a sample. I'm going to go all the way to an empty track. And let's record that in.
Where we're from.
Play that part first.
Okay. We are not monsters with food. And I can never be food.
Now that we got that in there, you know, I'll add some EQ to it before I go, so I just want to say thank you for watching this video. If you watched it this far, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment. Inshallah, hopefully you found something valuable in this video. I feel like there's a bunch of dope tips in here for the people who are looking. Make sure you follow me at 365 O.T.G on all social media. Check out the Gumroad. We also got a Patreon. All this stuff is being built out. You can always donate to $sign O.G on Cash App. Whatever you felt like, if you felt like I helped you, I'm always appreciative of how people want to support. You know, and I support you. Hopefully this helps you grow. And you know, if you're on Twitter, tag me in some of the beats that I inspire you to make. I'll definitely give you a retweet. I got a pretty big following there. I don't got a big following on YouTube, but over there, I'm about to hit 60,000 people, you know what I mean? All culture, all the time. So tap in. All kinds of people in the comments and the conversation. We had Wale yesterday, Big Sean last week. You know, definitely push the culture on Twitter. Move the needle when we talking about music and entertainment. Appreciate you guys. Join the community. Like, share, subscribe, comment. It's your brother. Push the line, man. Go the extra step sometimes. It's worth it.